Hey, my name is Hunter Hall, and I'm interviewing Rachel Sachet. Say hey, Rachel.
Hi.
We are both EDM 310 students at South, and we decided to interview each other and ask each other questions about our personal experiences throughout our elementary, middle school, and high school years of using technology, since in our class we're learning how to incorporate technology into the classroom. So, Rachel, where did you attend your elementary school years?
Well, I went through K through 6 in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I went to a private school, Our Lady of Fatima. And there, we didn't have much technology. We used mostly like audio, where we listened with the really big headphones and then listened to books. And we had overhead projectors. We did do the accelerated reader, and most of our computers were either in the library, or we did have a computer lab where each week you went to the computer lab once or twice a week, just depending on what grade level you were in. And towards the end of my time at Fatima, we did start getting computers in each classroom. Each classroom would start to get about one or two computers towards the end of my time at Fatima.
Mine was kind of the same. I went to elementary school at a private school here in Mobile, and we used mainly chalkboard and chalk and overhead projectors, but we never had any like smartboard. We used computers in the computer lab. They were the big computers, but we never had anything in our classrooms besides just pencil paper. Sometimes it was a little bitty board. You know, you had your own at your desk with like old dry erase marker and a little eraser. But for the most part, it was strictly pencil paper, chalkboard, and whatnot. Did you attend middle school in Biloxi as well?
Yes, and when I started middle school, I started going to a public school, and there was about the same amount of technology. There was one to two computers in each classroom. Typically, every class used an overhead projector each day, and the teachers would put their notes onto the projector screen, and that's how you would take notes for most of your classes. There was dry erase boards in each classroom. There was no more chalkboards, but the dry erase board, which was basically the same. But that was basically the extent of technology in middle school as well. It was just the overhead projectors and then a few computers other than the computer lab.
My middle school was the same. It was a feeder school from elementary to middle school, so I stayed at the same school from first grade to eighth, and it stayed chalkboard. I think my eighth grade year, they took the chalkboards out of the middle school and put the big dry erase boards. But for the most part, it was exactly the same thing. Did you attend high school in Biloxi also?
Yes, after middle school went to Biloxi High, and there it was the same projectors and then computers. But towards the end of my high school, they started putting smart boards, and they slowly integrated them, so it wasn't every classroom. I do remember my economics teacher using it more, and my geometry teacher, she used a lot of graphs on the smart board, but I didn't get much use out of them or have a real good understanding of them since they were first starting to integrate them in my senior year.
I went to high school at McGill-Tulin Catholic High School. It's also a private school in Mobile, and ours was the same way. It was chalkboards still in some of the classrooms, believe it or not, and dry erase boards in the other ones. And we had, I think it was just like one smart board, and it was on wheels, and it was like we rolled it. We used it in English, but basically the only computer, like we had a computer lab where you learned like keyboarding. You had a keyboarding class, and we had another computer lab for yearbook staff, for people who put together the yearbook. But for the most part, it was overhead projectors, still taking notes off of the projector, and basically that was it. We still used dry erase boards, and it was just lecture. We never had really the advantage to have a smart board or anything. But I definitely think that it's a good thing to use, but I think pen and paper also learns just as well.
I agree. I believe